Okay, so today we want to look at how South Dakota is going to get back to work. We're going to look at Governor Noem's back to normal plan, but specifically how it affects rental property. So let's get started. So here's what everybody needs to know. So this is for individuals. So let's just cover it. It's basic, but let's look at it. So you got to practice good hygiene. So none of that has changed. They want you to stay home when you're sick, stay apart, social distance, right? The 6 feet apart. And then, of course, the vulnerable individuals, the elderly, people with compromised immune systems, stay home, take extra precautions. So none of that has really changed. Still continue to do that. Of course, as we're where we sit right now on May 1st, this plan came out on April 28th. May 1st, we think Sioux Falls is going to peak about mid to the end of May. And so we're still ramping up cases at this point. So these things are still super important. Now, what do employers need to do? So they need to encourage good hygiene, okay, standard stuff. Encourage people to stay home when they're sick. Screen for symptoms prior to entering the workplace. This would be taking temperature, just if somebody's coughing and whatever, send them home. Those type of things. And then this one is new. This one's unique, and it says if the people have been previously working via telework, begin transitioning employees back to the workplace. So don't know exactly what this looks like. But if we've been working from home, now we need to start thinking about how do we bring people back. And the reason we're doing this in South Dakota is because we have enough hospital capacity to handle the surge, to handle the peak of the curve. And so people are going to continue to get COVID, and the state feels that they can take care of the ones that are sick. Now, for rental properties, all of that is very little change. We're going to continue to work from home. We'll continue to practice social distancing as much as we can. So we don't see a lot changing. Maintenance is still a bit of a challenge, right? Non-essential maintenance. Not a whole lot has changed on the ground. We've just got the hospital capacity now. So maybe we'll start doing a little bit more non-essential maintenance. But largely, very little has changed on the rental property front. Now, another piece to this is dealing with enclosed retail businesses that promote public gatherings. Now, single-family homes definitely don't fall into this category. What does is larger multifamily buildings with amenities, and it's a little bit of a gray area because we're not really a pub or a restaurant or even a workout facility. A gym, but we do have fitness rooms or a pool, right? So we kind of feel we sort of fall into this, but here's what they want us to do here. So resume operations in a manner that allows for reasonable physical distancing, good hygiene, and appropriate sanitation. And then second, consider restricting occupancy and continue innovating in this uncertain environment. So it's be responsible, get open, start operating, and somehow try to protect people's safety, keep them healthy. And so some of the things we've done on the multifamily side is we've opened our indoor pools, our fitness rooms, our community rooms, our theater rooms. They're all back open, and they have been even for the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks now. But we are limiting. So a couple things we're doing is we're doing it by reservation, so that even the fitness room, you reserve the fitness room, and it's your fitness room for that 45 minutes. And then we're cleaning between each reservation. So it's an intense amount of work on our staff's part to manage all that, to get in there every 45 minutes to clean. Same with the pool, where we took all the furniture out of the pool area so that we have less stuff to wipe down, and there's basically just the handrails are left to wipe down. So we can get through that pretty quick. And then we're washing the floors at this point. We're scrubbing the floors once a day. And so we're trying to find ways to limit the amount of people in the room. The pool's limited to 10. Fitness, I think, is limited to 4. So that we can encourage social distancing with the reservations, with the extra cleaning, but still get these things open so that people can use them. And so that's really how it's changed for rental property. All right, and there's additional things that in order for us to go back to this back to normal plan, there's things that have to be in place. And Governor Noem believes that we have these things now, and of course this can change, but let's look at those quick a minute. So symptoms, we have to have a downward trajectory in flu-like symptoms, and we have to have the ability to test all people with symptoms. And we have those two things right now. Cases also need to be on a downward trajectory. It's hard to say that word. And then we have no clusters, no hot spots that pose risk to the public. And so right now we also are taking care of that. Those things, of course, could change. The hospitals have to be able to treat all patients. They have to be able to have testing available for all healthcare workers, and they have to have an adequate supply of personal protective equipment that the hospital is able to procure on their own, that it doesn't have to depend on the state to give them supplies. And again, Avera and Sanford here in Sioux Falls believe they have that under control. And then finally, the state has to have the capacity to investigate and contain any outbreaks, and they have to be able to maintain a rapid response team to support high-risk businesses that have COVID-19. And so that's going to be the things like the Smithfield, where you have a lot of people close proximity, and the state's got to be able to help those businesses out. So once we've got all that in place, we can start getting back to normal. Okay, and so we have that currently. That could change, right? We could see a spike in infections and then have to maybe go back to a little bit of a tighter social distancing and what have you. There is a frequently asked questions section, and the general frame up of these questions is, well, can we open our business? Can we open our daycare? Can we open our dentist? Can the doctors be open? Can the churches be open? And every answer is, churches, daycares, businesses, dentists, doctors were never closed. So yeah, you can open them because we never had to close them. Do we have to keep sheltering in place? Well, no shelter in place has ever been ordered. So no, you don't have to shelter in place. Do I have to wear a mask? Well, no, because masks were never ordered to be worn. Travel was never restricted, both within the state or from outside the state coming into the state. The one thing that is interesting was that schools should make their own decisions about the remainder of the year, and they're encouraged to contact all students and assess learning. Now, what we're hearing is that in some cases, once the schools shut, because that was ordered to shut the schools, teachers and the school just lost track of the kids, right? Some kids they've not heard from at all since that happened. And so there is concern of where are those kids? Are they okay? Are they getting food? Are they learning? All those things. And so there's even some talk of, can we bring some kids back into school in small groups so we can maintain the social distancing aspect. So that'll be interesting how the schools try to make that happen before the end of the year. All right, of course, as always, you can always visit covid.sd.gov. There's lots of good stuff there. And then lastly, we'll open it up for questions.